The Honeydew with y'all. Thank you for your support. Here's Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the Honeydew with y'all. We're over here doing it in the NIGHTPANTS studios. I am Ryan Sickler, and I want to thank you very much again for subscribing to this show, man. There's so many new subscribers coming in. I can't thank you enough for supporting this show. This community is fucking wonderful. I mean, Jesus Christ, NIGHTPANTS Nation's over here solving cold cases and shit, y'all. It's amazing what you guys are doing out there. So if you or someone you know has that story that has to be heard, you do not need to be a Patreon member. Submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Hopefully we'll get to do an episode together. Pay attention to your emails. We're kicking them back to you, and sometimes we don't hear back from people. If you're in for the long haul, sign up for a year. You get over a month free, and you do get the Honeydew a day early ad-free at no additional cost. All right? The NIGHTPANTS Nation tour is on the way, or underway, I guess, and over your underpants. So get your tickets today at ryansickler.com. All right? You guys know what we do here. We're highlighting the lowlights with y'all. Very excited to have today's guest here. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Diego Morales. Welcome to the Honeydew with y'all, Diego.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for making time. You said you called off work for us today. Thank you very much. Please don't get in trouble.
Man. If my boss asks, you're my dentist. So
you got that. Hey, I'll tell you right now, that eye tooth's looking fucked up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I might have a cavity. I love the Jason Ellis shirt as well.
Nice.
Diego, tell me right now, where are you?
I'm in the basement of my home in Portland, Oregon. I usually have a drum set right where I'm sitting, so this is different.
And how old are you, Diego?
28 years old.
28. All right. And you're in Portland, you already said, so you answered that for us. So you sent in a list, and it sort of bounced around a little bit, which is fine. Whenever you send in, I don't care. Send it in. I want it to be something that catches my attention. So we sort of put together a timeline for you today. But it's interesting to me because you said at 3 you were brought to the U.S. illegally. So let's start there. Tell me about your family, your upbringing, how you got here, your parents, all that stuff.
Sure. So first of all, I'd like to say that I actually subscribed to the Patreon today.
Thank you.
Because I figured my episode was going to be on there.
Today, at least you're on.
Before it was YouTube.
We're going to hold this episode for 3 months. Kirsten, hold this one for 6 months.
No, I love the podcast. I'm very interested to see the other highlighting of the other lowlights and stuff like that. It's cool. You never know who you're going to get on here, right? You said somebody solved a cold case murder. That's nuts.
18-year-old cold case. It's crazy.
And then hopefully maybe a little bit of this story might shed some light on what it is to be an immigrant and being here on your own and figuring that out, lacking old generational knowledge and sort of figuring things out from getting into school to insurance. It's all new. And my mom didn't speak English and stuff. So yeah, anyways. Starting from being born, I was born in Viña del Mar, Chile, South America. Beautiful coastal city. And from there, my mom and dad got married right before I was born. They met on a bus.
On a bus? Like a city bus? Yeah. Just dad's macking on mom on the way to work or something?
So he probably wished. So they were both visiting family in Argentina, which is right next to Chile. They were probably, seeing family and drinking mate like we talked about. And on the way to...
I'm a little cultured.
On the way to Chile on the bus, my dad had spotted my mom. He was my age, actually, 28. She was 18. And he had walked over to her and just said, like, oh, you're a very pretty young lady. We're both going to Chile. Could I take you out sometime? And my grandma was like, what the fuck, get back away. My mom, I guess, thought he was kind of handsome. He doesn't look like...
he did this in front of your grandma. Her mom was with her? Your mom's
mom?
That takes a lot of balls.
I agree.
A lot of balls.
He actually partied with Charlie Sheen and was a biker for a while. So yeah, he's got a set on him. But that had happened. They went on their first date, which was at a park, something cheesy. Probably got ice cream or something. And Bird had pooped on my dad's shoulder, and in Chile, that's good luck.
That's what
Go
they
figure,
tell you.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here I'd be like, dude, I'm like shit out of luck. Like this is not
Yeah.
good. And from there, they just dated, and then they got married. And then my dad is a severe alcoholic, like bottle or two of brandy a day. And I guess sometimes he would get his shit together, and this was one of those windows. And over time, my grandpa, who was in naval intelligence in Chile, then Secret Service for the ruler down there, Pinochet, had told my dad like that he was gonna like get him and stuff, to get away from my mom. And they had flown from Chile to Tijuana and to go to America. My dad had lived in America. He was also illegal though. And from there, I guess my dad had, for some reason, like went over the border, and my mom had to walk through the border with a coyote, as they call it, which is like a guide. And
Okay, so wait, I just want to follow the literal path of movement here. You're going from Chile to Mexico, then not just flying.
yes,
Okay, not just flying directly.
no, they had like applied for like visas and all that stuff. Like they tried to do it legally, and for whatever reason they couldn't.
Well, this is what a lot of people don't realize either. Excuse me. There are a lot of people here illegally, but I would say, look, I'm wrong about a lot of shit, but I feel like the majority of them came here legally and then have just stayed past their work visas or whatever, and they're like, fuck it, I'm staying. They didn't get here climbing a fucking wall, and some did, but the majority of people fucking fly here. They just come in here. They come, and then they just stay beyond what they're supposed to. That's right. What's going on mostly, I feel like. Not this whole border fucking rush of millions of people coming up over the fucking fence and wall and shit.
Right. Most of it is in that way, which is what my dad's situation was. He had like flown over and then just like fell in love with America, land of opportunity. In Chile, you work all day, you get 8,000 pesos, which is like $10, and things cost as much as they do here. So if I want a bag of chips, it's $1 or $2, but I'm making, $10, $11 working at a restaurant, for example. So if you have to take the bus and then you got to eat, that's pretty much your money for the day. So my dad came out to America, and he had found success in being like a graphic designer and a printer, and it didn't take a lot. It didn't take a lot for him to be like, I want to stay here. And he was visiting, and then my mom, they fell in love, and they were leaving, and they sort of were in a way running away from my mom's family because my grandpa was military, and then my uncles are all like gangster types, and the kind that, well, you run a whole country, you run away from a country you're from, Mm-hmm. They had left, and this is part of the story that I don't really get too much, but for some reason my dad was in America and my mom had to go with the coyote. And from there, I believe what had happened is I got put in a car with like my aunts that were in America, and we drove through the border just with me in the backseat kind of thing. And my mom wasn't so lucky, maybe because her English wasn't there or something, and she had just walked through essentially. And eventually she got put in, and it was crazy. It's like a long walk. She like fell and hit her head at one point. She still has like some 18, no, maybe 19 at the time.
She was 19 when she had you?
Well, she was 18 when she had me, and they got married, and then they left shortly after. So I guess she was probably close to like 20.
Yeah, she's a baby.
Yeah, she's younger than I am now. And yeah, so she had walked through, and it's like some crazy thing, like people were getting hurt and, all this crazy shit. There's no like doctors there, right? You're in the middle of probably Texas or some shit. But yeah, they're out there. And at that point, my mom gets in a pickup truck, and they tell her like with fruit or something, and they tell her like lay down and like don't say a word, we're going to go through like some checkpoint stuff. And so she's down there not even breathing, she's like, she doesn't dare have a thought from what I understand. And then after a while she hears like people laughing and talking, and then it's been like way past what they said it was going to be like an hour or two, and she thinks she's down there like 6-8 hours. So she gives a little knock, And then like time passes and they open and they're like, oh man, we crossed the border hours ago. Like
They
we thought you
forgot.
knew. That's fucked up. God damn.
We're in Portland.
Yeah,
And that's how we got here.
Yeah, Disneyland. No, it was actually LA. So we were down in San Diego actually, and my mom, the first food she had was In-N-Out. And
Is that right? That's her first American meal?
That's her first American meal was In-N-Out.
What's your mom's name?
Isabel.
All right, Isabel.
Yeah, In-N-Out. And that was a tradition. We would have In-N-Out all the time. When I flew out to Vegas for the fights I told you about, I ate In-N-Out like 3 times. So yeah, we're in America, LA. We're moving around every 6 months to a year.
Have you reconnected with dad? Like you, your mom, and dad? Is it just the 3 of you? Do you have other siblings?
I was really young at the time, so I don't really know or remember. From what I understand, we met with my dad and we stayed with like his family for a little bit. Then we went and he was like doing well at the time. He supposedly was like doing coke with Charlie Sheen and like Mickey Rourke. And he was just kind of like in the Hollywood scene, from what I was told. And we get a place. I'm too young to really know. And I have one other brother. His name's Marcelo. And he is 3 years younger than me. So I guess if I was, I don't know, 4 or 5, he might have been at this time 2 or 3, whatever. We're moving every 6 months to a year. My dad's getting increasingly belligerent and drunk all the time. A lot of our memories are like dark ones, you know. He was very abusive toward her and toward me and would hit us a lot. And the kind of drunk that would be like coming home at 2, 3 in the morning when we're all asleep and wake us up and be like, I love you, you know, come hug me. And you'd be like, dude, I'm trying to sleep. And then he would get mad, like, you don't want to hug your fucking father. And we're like, dude, it's 2, 3 in the morning, man. I got shit to do in the morning. I'm fucking 5 years old, man. I got to learn about alphabet and letters and shit. I'm trying to learn English, man.
Yeah, I guess so. You're having to learn English. Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, so fast forwarding through that, bad times, dark times, blah, blah, blah. I'm 18 now.
Well, wait, I want to...
Oh, hold on, yeah.
Yeah, because you said you had an incident in grade school. So before you tell us what happened, I mean, were you acting out because of this? Was this affecting you? Do you remember feeling a certain way about your father's abuse and the way he treated you and your mom?
I was mostly a good kid. I just have like a lighthearted soul, you know, for the most part. And I always liked, ironically, doing comedy. And like it started like in the classroom, making everyone laugh. And I guess maybe if I were to like look back at it, maybe trying to get attention I wasn't getting at home because my mom, being an illegal immigrant, would work any job she can get, which often meant like long hours, and then you can't really call out sick because when you do, they fire you. I had to go through that myself until I got work authorization at 21. But before that, yeah, I saw my mom go through so many jobs and like cleaning, babysitter, anything she can get really. And so she was always busy and out of the house, and she did what she could, but her plate was full with 2 kids and learning English and learning everything, driving without a license, which is terrifying because everywhere you go, you're like, shit, that's a cop. We can get pulled over, which did happen. You know, we got our cars impounded.
You did?
I seen my mom. Yeah, my mom did. It's illegal. It's a misdemeanor. So, yeah, I don't want to jump all over the place here, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit more.
I got you here too. So you had this incident in grade school.
Yeah. This was middle school, so like anyone else, we would just be like having fun and pulling pranks, skateboarding, you know, climbing on top of buildings, just fucking rascals, nothing crazy. But we had lit a fire or somebody else had lit a fire. I like helped, and then it got into the trash can, and I thought it'd be great if I got all the paper towels and threw it in the trash can, you know, bigger fire, not really thinking like, whoa, that's awesome. So we're putting all this paper towels in there, and then it just gets way out of control. It's like it's as high as the roof is. So I don't know.
No, was it really? It was that bad?
Yeah. And it's, I don't know what, 10 feet or so,
yeah,
right? Story. Yeah, so I run out of there. Everyone's running out of there. And then I run back in and try to put it out. And I quickly realized that's not happening. So we just all run. And then I'm in my classroom, just like chilling. Like,
You
all
don't
right,
tell anyone?
No, dude. I'm like, that'll probably go out, right? Yeah, probably. So we're just hanging out. And then there's like, we hear the fire alarm. Then the firefighters come and it's all this crazy shit. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? Everything okay? Like, smells like smoke. Is that Woody Nelson? What's over there? But yeah, so one kid got blamed for it and he ended up I mean he did start it and I kind of, threw some stuff in there, but he was the one with the actual lighter. I didn't have a lighter. And he got the blunt end of that and he ended up like going to juvie and
Damn, really?
Yeah. And he
You're a paper towel or two away from juvie, huh?
yeah, dude. And he ended up being like a gang member and stuff, man. It was crazy. Yeah.
So tell me about at 18 you're riding in a truck. You're headed to Vegas, okay? Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm 18 and at this point I don't have work authorization yet in the US and I'm taking like my mom any job I can get and this meant working in a warehouse for 2 weeks and then maybe we weren't needed so you're let go and you're lucky if you get your final check. And here's what people don't know is you actually pay taxes still, but you can't get a refund because you don't have a social security to like prove it. Like it's kind of weird. So I was paying all these taxes.
So they're taking your money anyway.
Oh yeah.
And you're not getting any of that shit back because you don't exist.
Exactly.
But your money exists. Isn't that a motherfucker I know, right? Look, we're going to take this shit from you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what YouTube does. YouTube will demonetize my episodes, but then continue to put ads in them and collect their money, but not let me get paid.
They're a very successful business model.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
when you
IRS.
don't pay people. Yeah, sure.
My dad had told me that you could run from gangs, you can run from the police, but you cannot run from the IRS.
Nope.
So that's one thing I did is for the tax, you can put an allowance like yourself and head of household, all that status. I always put 0 so they would take out as much because I figured it'd be less of a problem if they had their money, So yeah, I'm 18. I'm working whatever job I can get. And then there's a local motorcycle club in LA that should not be named. And my friends are like all connected with that. They're family members, my dad as well. And they offered me a job driving a truck from one warehouse in LA to another warehouse in Vegas. And it's nothing illegal. It's like just paper and like whatever. And looking back, maybe it doesn't matter. So we're trucking. I'm trucking myself and just going to the warehouse in Vegas and just be like, oh, what's up? I'm here. And they would unload it. The owner would give me like a car or his car even and a company car, like, oh, go rent a hotel and eat some food, come back rested in the morning and go back to LA. And that was pretty awesome. I'd go get like Red Lobster and shit. It was cool. I was really scared to spend it at first. I'd be at 7-Eleven, like, let me just get one of those hot dogs.
Yeah.
I was kind of scared. And then they were like, hey, you get like a per diem. Like you could totally spend, $50 or if you need to, it's okay. But I was so scared. I found like the cheapest hotel away from the strip. I just didn't want to spend their money. And I was doing well. And one of the times I'm heading to work and I have this beat up piece of shit Nissan Altima, 1994. It's got like so many miles. I think the thing broke. It just was like, dude, I quit.
Fuck, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why are you still looking at this? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is the least of your problems. Yeah. So I'm driving and it starts smoking up and doing the thing. And these are not people that like you have excuses with. They have a saying, like TCOB, taking care of business. And it's the type that's like, oh, you're late, you should have left an hour early. Oh, your car broke down, fucking call an Uber. Like there's no excuses, So I pull over and I'm like, oh, fuck this car. And I call my boss, let him know what's up. And he's like, all right, man, we're going to have someone come out and tow you. So this dude comes over, tows me, big guy, tatted the fuck up, just got out of jail.
How do you know he just got out of jail? He told you?
He told me,
What'd he say?
My memory is very hazy on that part. I've had a couple so it's a little hazy. But it was something like, I'm like, hey, what's up? Blank said, thank you for coming, that kind of thing. He's like, yeah, my name's Blank. Let me see. He has a name that is very obviously related to guns, and I didn't make the connection or anything. Let's say his name was like Click, as an example.
Sure.
Or like
Trigger.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm there and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Mine's more biblical. I'm Diego, they call me a little sleepy. So I'm in the tow truck with him and we're talking. He's like, oh, something's up with the truck. Like, you're actually going to ride with me. I'm in a semi truck. Actually you would be really useful as like an actual truck driver. Do you have interest in that kind of thing? And I'm like, I never thought about it. I'm like, oh, and I kind of let him know, like, oh yeah, I'm working out some things. Cause I'm not going to tell this random stranger, like, I don't have a social security or anything. So yeah, he's asking me like, oh, how much do you make trucking from LA to Vegas? And I'm like, $100. And he's like, what the fuck, dude, that's bullshit. And I'm thinking, oh fuck, maybe I make more than this guy.
Yeah.
He was actually trying to help me. He's like, you're not getting paid enough, dude. He's like, they're taking advantage of you. Like, that's fucking nonsense. So he goes and he's like yelling at the guy that you do not yell at, and he's yelling
for you
or me, that he just met me. And I'm like, oh, I'm really uncomfortable. And then the boss man's like, hey man, when you get back, we're going to get you like on the payroll system and make it more legit, and I kind of don't want that. I kind of
right. Yeah. He's actually hurting you, but doesn't know he's hurting you.
Yeah. Well, it's all good though. So this, whatever, that gets all squared away. Now we're driving to Vegas and I'm in a semi truck, which I've never been in. And he's kind of like trying to teach me about truck driving and stuff like that. And I'm very interested because I don't have an education really. I went to part-time college at a community college, but you have to pay out of pocket when you're an illegal immigrant. So I can't really afford it, because I'm working like warehouse jobs and to get through that schooling, you can't get like any financial aid really. And I don't have the knowledge. Now I know you could probably apply for different scholarships that are independent or fellowships, different organizations can help you nowadays, but I didn't know anything at the time. My mom had gotten sick, so she left to Chile, but I don't want to bounce around. Let me finish this little bit, I guess. Yeah, we're in the truck and he's talking to me about truck driving and I'm like, cool, saving it in my head for later, maybe, one day. And, as we're talking, this song plays, Fergie, my lovely lady humps, my humps. But yeah, so that goes on and I'm like, whatever, we're talking and he's telling me some shit that's like, I'd rather not know a little bit, like a go bag and how if there's blood somewhere, like you can't just wipe it, you have to use bleach. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Wait, he just saying random shit like that?
Kind of, yeah.
Like, look, man, if you want to dissolve the bones, it's lime. Use lime.
Yeah. And I'm like,
now this is 11th gear.
Yeah, exactly. And we're driving and we're the stretch from LA to Vegas is the 15 and it's just desert and it's dark.
Nothing. Yeah.
It is the place that you don't want to hear about this kind of thing from a guy that looks like him. And I'm like,
who you don't know either. You don't know.
I don't really know.
And how far you have to go with the guy? Where'd you break down?
Vegas.
I know, but where'd you break down?
Oh no, I broke down somewhat near the warehouse. So he told me we got in the truck, like that was.
And now he's just taking you to Vegas.
Yeah, we're going to Vegas and he's showing me. And the plan was sort of like we were going to go and then I'm going to go get in a truck that I could drive and he's going to get into like that. Yeah, something like that. So that song goes on. And he's talking to me about some crazy shit and telling me weird things. Like if somebody puts a gun to your head and they make you like look away from them, that means they're going to kill you. And like, that's like an executioner thing. And you really got to do something to get away and like all this crazy shit. And he was like, don't do stuff with your hands because as soon as they get scared, they're going to shoot you. And I'm like, yeah, dude. So like, I'm pretty stoked about like my girlfriend. We're gonna go to a restaurant when I get back.
How do you pull that horn up there? That's the shit I want to know.
Actually,
Is that a cord? Is it a string, like a lamp string?
Yeah.
What do you feel like?
Is that an air horn? Man, how loud is that? So the song goes on, and then it goes on
This
again.
is what he's telling you over lady humps.
Yeah. So a little time goes by, let's say 15 minutes. It goes on again. My lovely lady humps. And I'm like, huh, okay. That's a little weird. That maybe it's the radio. I'm not really paying attention. I noticed it's actually, yeah, it's like his phone. So it's like a playlist, actually. So for the third time it goes on. I said third weird. Third time. I know numbers. So the third time it went on, I kind of was like, damn, this song's playing a lot. And he immediately white knuckles and goes like this. He goes, it's a good fucking song. And then he's just like this, staring straight, crazy eyes. And his knuckles are just turning white. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm sitting there like, okay, this guy totally killed somebody to this song or something. I'm like, I was like, yeah, I love this song. Play it again. You know, like, fuck yeah, this is my best song. I was actually gonna get this tattooed on me. But yeah, so that happens. We're going through Vegas, and I am trying my best to just not set this dude off. You know, I'm like,
is it silent now? Or are you trying?
Yeah, he's no longer friendly. He's no longer sharing stories with me.
Are you like, have you heard Fergalicious?
If you like that,
can we do 2 songs?
check out the greatest hits
For the 5-hour fucking road trip, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, so it's a little weird now, and we're going, and he sees these other bikers. We go get fuel, and he gets out and takes off his shirt, and he has the motorcycle club tattooed on his back in big "fuck you" letters. Like it is a serious thing. It's bigger than this shit, you know?
And
so
he goes shirtless, or he's got like a tank top?
No, he takes off his shirt, and he's walking toward the other biker guys. And these biker guys are not, it's well known that they are not friendly with each other. So
wait. He's a rival gang walking toward?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He's about to start some shit. These aren't buddies.
I don't know shit, dude. I'm just sitting there like...
He just took his shirt off like, I got some shit I got to take care of. And he's by himself. He's by himself.
He has a little bat. It's called a tire thumper to hit the wheels on the semi. So he's walking toward them. And
how many of them are there?
5.
Damn, okay.
4. There's a couple, you know, they're all there. And these guys rarely go anywhere alone. So that's happening. And I am like shitting guts. I didn't know I didn't know you can get feelings up here coming down. Like I was like, what the fuck? And he goes over, and then he starts laughing, and they hug each other. They fucking know each other.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, my hands are sweating, and he comes over, and they're all laughing at me, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You do all that for me? And he was like, yeah, fuck you, you know, that kind of thing. And there's a chick there that's trying to get on the truck with us, dude. She sees the big tatted biker guy, and she's like, all into him. They're talking. They fucking met at the casino later, man. It's nuts. Yeah. So to button that up, everything's okay. I get back, and then they tell me like a week later, I'm in the warehouse. I'm like, yo, where's blank? And they're like, oh, he went back to jail. And I'm like, what for? They're like, you didn't know? And then I was like, no. And they're like, we'll talk later. And then I was told later it was he killed somebody, and it was not his first time. That's like what.
Hold on. You rode to Vegas with a confirmed killer who has multiple kills, and they didn't tell you till after?
And no one told me shit. Yeah. And
Hey, listen, you don't ever need to go to Vegas again, because that's the biggest gamble you'll ever take in Vegas right there with your life.
Yeah, goddamn,
Fuck
dude.
that, dude.
Yeah, sometimes shortly after that, I stopped working with them.
All right, tell me. So this seemed to be the chunk of your life where you have a lot going on. This period from like 21. I want to hear about driving cross country trucking here too, where you had a fight with an interesting person.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, what had happened when I turned 18 is my mom had a lot of like heart problems, and we couldn't afford anything here in America. So she ended up, I ended up telling her, oh, you should hop on Facebook and find your family. And she's like, you don't know my family. They're not like that. Your grandpa's like Robert De Niro. Like he's like an old school, ex-military, like very stern. Like he's not going to be on fucking Facebook. And my mom's a little more old school too. So I tell her like, dude, somebody in your fucking family is on Facebook, man. Imagine, and maybe you remember the name of, because she hasn't spoken to her family in 10 years, by the way. She's like excommunicated, and then she's embarrassed and doesn't ever reach out. My dad and mom split up. Now it's just me and my mom and my two brothers. Now at this point, I'm a shitty storyteller, so
you're doing fine.
Yeah, thank you. So she hops on Facebook, finds her family, they connect, and she's like crying, like, what the fuck? And she's on video calls with them. They're chatting. I'm saying hi to family members I didn't know I had. It's pretty cool. She goes back to America. She goes back to Chile, and I'm on my own now, completely, just me. And she did leave me a really old piece of shit BMW that was fun to ride around in for about a week before it broke down.
Oh, 1 week's all you got?
I think so, yeah. It was like a 1994 7 Series BMW, and like it overheated, and I went to get it fixed. It was $750. And then after that, it took a dump. And I called like scrap people, and they picked it up for like $400. Anyways, so she's out of the picture. I am now 18. I go do all these jobs. I turned 21, and Obama passed Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA. You familiar with this? Yeah, so I met the criteria, which is brought as a child, no criminal record, graduated high school, stuff like that. So I met all the criteria, I applied, and I got it. Now I could legally work in America. I can get a driver's license for the first time. So driving, you're not worried about any car, any cop car is scary. It's not there to protect. The way we see it, it's like, oh shit, I can go to jail, that kind of thing. So I get my driver's license, and then I remembered what Blank told me about truck driving. So I looked up trucking based off what he told me. And I applied to CR England truck driving school at 21 years old. My birthday is February 7th. I know you have a show in LA, man. I might be able to go out and see
I'm
February
with Tom.
5th.
I had to think about it. It's not my show. I'm a guest on Tom's shows.
Fuck yeah. I love Tom Segura. So yeah, I turned 21 February 7th, get DACA, get a driver's license. About a week later, I apply for truck driving school. I go, that's awesome. I am now going over the road truck driving, and I'm with a trainer who is an older dude, and he's a little more old school. He's a fucker, but he's one of those that's like a total cunt. And then like a day later, he's like, oh, sorry, dude, it's just that, one of those. So what had happened is I pulled over at a rest stop, and it's completely, and by the way, I've never really left California before this, aside from like Vegas. I pull over in this little dingy truck stop, and I walk in, and there's nobody there. And I'm like, hello, nothing. And it's a little eerie. I'm like, okay. And I really got to pee. So I'm like, oh man, I'm all looking around. I'm like, I'm going to go use the restroom, and then run back. So I'm walking around, can't find the restroom. There's a guy there, and he's like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, oh, where's your restroom? I'm in the truck, whatever. And he's like, oh, just pop back, take a key. So I get the key, and I go jogging, because I'm like, I really gotta pee. So as I'm jogging, as I'm exiting the door, there's a dude there that like just turned the corner, and I almost hit him. So I'm like, whoa, sorry. And I didn't touch him, but almost. I moved out of the way, and he's like, yeah, whatever. I go use the restroom. As I'm walking in the restroom, there's a giant like swastika right on the door. And I'm like, whoa.
The bathroom?
Yeah. So, that doesn't make a brown guy feel very welcome.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make a white guy feel welcome either, believe me.
True. But the white guy's not who they're going after.
But I could shave my head and fucking blend in and disappear.
They might try to recruit your ass, though, like, what are you doing later? Versus me, where I'm like, the problem.
I don't know. I got a couple. Y'all want to hate brown people? You know what? I'll carve out an hour for it. I'll carve out an hour for that.
Mexican food gives me the shits. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: in the trucking world, in your experience, Latino brown man, is that rare, or are there a lot of you guys out there?
It's a big mixture. I see everybody out there. Yeah. I see a whole grip of people out there, and now that I've been doing it a while and I'm local, I only ever go like an hour outside of my house and stuff. But at the time, I'm learning, I'm fresh, so I see the swastika, I'm like, oh shit. So peeing, I'm like finishing up, and I always have like pepper spray, knives and stuff on me. And I've like been doing MMA for like ever, boxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So I feel okay, especially when you're younger, you're foolish.
I was gonna
like
say,
that,
you're fucking young, you're ready to go, yeah.
In a way, now, fuck all that.
No,
it's
hell
funny.
no.
I'm going out and people are like, oh, like, I wish you were there. You would have. And I'm like, I would have gone the fuck
Back in the day,
dude.
it was, I wish a motherfucker would. Now it's like, please don't. Please don't.
When it turns 11/11, you're supposed to make a wish, right? You've heard that?
Yeah.
I used to look at it and go, I wish a motherfucker would.
Yeah.
And now I wish a motherfucker would not.
Not, please. I got shit I got to do.
Exactly, yeah. So, so that happens, and as I'm going to exit the restroom, there's the dude that I almost bumped into is there, and he shoves.
He's waiting for you outside the door?
Yes. Like he's kind of coming in as I'm exiting, and I almost bump him again, and I'm like, oh, sorry, and I go to the side, and he's like, he moves, and I'm like, what the fuck, like, excuse me, and I like turn and move, and he puts his arm out and shoves me back in there.
Damn, really?
And yeah.
How old would you say this dude is?
Mid-30s maybe.
And is he bigger?
Guy.
Bigger dude?
Bigger dude. Yeah, he's a bigger dude, and right now I'm 190, and at the time I was like fucking 150, 155, some shit like that.
But you've got some fighting skills and some knowledge. So what's your first thought when this dude shoves you back?
Soon as he shoves me back, I put my hands up and I go to reach for my knife, and I stop because I'm like, if he has a knife
or a gun,
and I pull out a knife or a gun, like I'm escalating,
Right.
So I go like this, and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't do that. And I have my hands up like this, which is what you're taught to. So I have my hands up like this, and I'm like kind of like, hey, like just weak, I'm like, hey man, like I don't mean any trouble. And he's like, you see like that fucking sign? And I was like, no way. Are you about American History X me? And he's like, it means you're fucking not welcomed. And I'm like, really, dude? That's a well-known movie. Like, you're gonna use that line? And I'm like, feeling lucky, punk? Like, what are we doing here? Exchanging movie lines. So he does that, and I have my hands up, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I'm like, oh boom, boom, and I just immediately.
Do you?
Yeah, I like hop forward with the cross. I didn't even get to connect with the hook. He was like falling down, and then I like shoved him, go running, jump in the truck, take off with very little fuel. I'm driving. I'm like thinking any moment now, like I'm going to see sirens and police. Like, this isn't good. Like, I knocked the dude out. You never know what happened. Maybe he hit his head.
Yeah,
I'm tripping.
Yeah, anything.
I'm a student, I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm driving. My hand hurts. I can barely even close it on the steering wheel. I'm like trying to truck one-handed and hold shift. So I'm like, oh, God damn it. So I'm fucking like, I didn't even get like a coffee or anything, man. So I'm going, and then out of nowhere, I hear my trainer go, yeah, I remember when I had to knock someone the fuck out once at a truck stop, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because he was asleep, I thought. I'm like, what the fuck? You're awake?
He was in the car or in the truck with you? Oh,
yeah, they sleep in the back while you drive usually.
Okay.
Yeah, and
because you're brand new.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know somebody was in there with you. Okay.
Yeah, he was asleep, I thought.
Was he a white dude?
Yes.
And he let that shit go down anyway?
I think things happen quick, and all he must have seen was probably nothing. Maybe just me coming out and hitting a dude and running. Like, he didn't, what was he going to do? He's like barefoot in his PJs, might even have some morning wood. You don't want to get up.
You mean his night pants? Yeah.
Yeah, his night pants.
Rolling out of the truck in a night pants. Is that a swastika? God damn. Well, my shit's brown. Hope y'all don't mind that.
So yeah, that happens, and we're going back and forth, and yeah, nothing happened. No cops, no nothing. And after that, he told me, hey man, if you're gonna pull pull over at a well-known truck stop, a Love's, a Travel, a Flying J, something
Circle
well
J.
lit with security
Flying
guards.
J, yeah, Flying J,
Yeah,
that's the one.
Flying
Yeah,
J,
Circle J is a
Love's.
whole different fucking place. Don't pull into the Circle J, dude.
Or do. I mean,
hey, you know what? Who am I to judge? You know what? Maybe you do want to pull into the Circle J. It's been a long day. Those truck stops, there's something else, goddammit.
They can
Holy
be. Now they're very nice, and now trucking is regulated. There's an ELD, electric logging device, so you can only truck so many hours.
Yeah, my brother tells me he's got a CDL and does that shit, and he's like, long gone are the days of cranking speed and just fucking driving across country in 2 goddamn days. Now everything's GPSed, and they know how long you go, and you got to stop and brake and all that stuff.
Yeah. I still see some of them that might be finding a way to make that work. You know, I get tweaker vibes off some of these truckers, but now the truck stops that I go to are the nicer Loves and Travel Centers, and they're just well lit, security guards. The showers are nice. So it's a lot different. Yeah.
So you said you had to go visit your mom. Tell me about what happened to your mom.
So when I turned about 23, 24, I'm doing well. I have a girlfriend I like at the time, a nice little apartment. I'm making good money. I started my own trucking company at the time, and LLC and all that. They kind of show you how to do this as an option, and I'm doing well. Made some good money, and I got to travel, see 48 states, figure out if I'm going through certain areas, just to stay in the truck and look from a window. From the smaller rural parts of, let's say, a place. I don't want to target any particular state, but if you are in a place that, like Texas or Alabama, somewhere in the Midwest, if you go to like a city, it's like anywhere else. It's not that different than, you've been to many capitals and big cities. They're all kind of the same in a way. When you get to the smaller towns, that's where you get a little bit more of other types. You know, those counties end up being like, let's say, like a red state. And when you see Confederate flags driving through on people's lawns and stuff, it doesn't make you feel like this is somewhere where I want to pull over. So I learned pretty quickly, like, oh, if I'm going to Dallas, it's fucking awesome. If I'm going to Indiana and I'm in a bigger city in that area, I'm cool. But if I go to like Whitetown, Indiana, a little more sketchy.
Listen, I completely get that, but I also want you to know, as a white person, when you see shit like that, even as a white person, you're scared. I mean, look, maybe not everybody is, but I was always scared too, because it was the hatred that scared the fuck out of me. You know, I just assumed that if I'm seeing that sort of home in these neighborhoods, that no matter who the fuck walked up there, they probably didn't want any from any, especially someone who was brown. But always those homes, like even when I go back and visit my brother in Delaware, and you're driving from Maryland to Delaware on that eastern shore, there's some fucking rednecks down there, and they've got the rebel flag, Confederate flag flying, and that is not a place I would stop to ask for anything, even as a white person, you know?
Yeah,
so I get
right.
the fear, and I'm only saying that yours must be so much more magnified.
No, but you're right. It is like a lot of it. It doesn't make you feel like, oh, these are going to be cool people. Like, these aren't.
I'm like, well, here's some
rational.
Christians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's some Bible believers.
Maybe they'll invite me in for dinner. We agree with that. So, what were we saying?
Your mom.
My mom. Okay, thank you. So, I'm 23, and I turned 24 or turned 23. Hold on. As I left, something like 22, 23. It's my birthday. It's awesome. About 2 days later, my mom texts me and is like, hey, I need to call you. And turns out she had passed away on my birthday. And
your mom passed away on your birthday?
Yes, but she's back to life, so it's all good. But
wait, what?
Yeah. Hold on. So she has a heart attack, and she's had it before. She had some at 27, so she stopped smoking. Then she had some at in the middle of her 30s.
Heart attack at 27?
Yeah.
Holy shit. She must have been a big smoker then.
Not even that much.
No?
From what I remember. It's just the stress, I think, of like not being with her family, having 2 kids, an illegal immigrant, a husband that like is abusive and an alcoholic.
All right.
And I think it's stress. I think
No wonder she smoked.
Yeah. And so she had a heart attack and she drove herself to the hospital.
Come on.
Yeah, dude, she's a hell of a woman. So for someone that could be on the podcast, that lady has got fucking stories. So she is she has a heart attack. She's driving herself to the hospital and she's trying to check in and she's telling them like, I'm having a heart attack, like please, I need help. And they're telling her like, calm down. If you were having a heart attack, you wouldn't be able to like talk the way you are or anything. Like, you're okay, you're freaking out, we're gonna get someone to you. And she just like gets lightheaded and falls dead on the floor. My grandma was like the medical director or something in the hospital. Like, we also have a lot of nurses in the family, so they grab her, they do whatever, they're getting her, and they get like the paddles of life, clear, that kind of thing, but in Spanish. So I guess it'd be like clearo, no, but uno, dos, tres. So they do that. And here's the story. I'm not there and I don't know, but the story is my mom was dead for a while. That's the story. And she's been on television for this before.
For real?
Yeah.
She's long? Been on. Gone for how long? This
is the part that doesn't make sense because I went through a fire academy twice, actually. I left that out. But supposedly like over 10 minutes.
Come on.
Yeah.
I hear you on that because that's supposed to be brain dead and everything else at that point.
Yep. Like, so clinical death means no pulse. Biological death means that your brain hasn't had any oxygen. And that begins at 3 minutes, 40 seconds, something like that. And by 10 minutes at plus, you're supposed to not even be able to like function properly. We're talking sipping through a straw, best case scenario, but definitely no motor skills. So she was supposedly dead over 10 minutes. And somebody there, like a newer person, decided to give her one more. And when that happened, she came back to life.
And she remembers out of here.
Dude, this is what my mom told me. She remembers like floating in like warm water and like the light, like all the cliche stuff. She sees that and she's so tired. Like she just wants to sleep. She just wants to rest. She's so tired. And then she remembers, oh fuck, it's my son's birthday. I can't die on my son's birthday.
No.
So she comes back with like anger. She comes back like, that kind of thing. Wolverine shit. So she comes back to life. And since then, she's been on television a couple times. And she reached out and told me, and as soon as she told me that, I was like, what a fucking mom. Like,
what shows has she been on?
I don't know. Fucking like Spanish stuff, like down in Chile.
Gotcha.
So, and after that happened, she's been on shows like I believe like 4 times or so.
Because they all want to know what she saw. Have you talked to her about that 10 minutes? Like what she saw, heard, other than what you just described? Does it go any deeper than that, or?
It does. And I don't know. I think the human memory is like the least reliable source of like history that we have. And I think that she's giving it more meaning with time. And I don't know, it kind of changes a bit, but what stays consistent is that she is tired, very tired, and remembers being my birthday and comes back. She now has a AED, like an automatic electric defibrillator.
Your mother died and came back to life on your fucking birthday.
Yeah.
What a fucking turn of events. Holy shit.
And what a mom.
Yeah, for real, what a mom.
Yeah. So.
And she's a fan of the HoneyDew?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she thinks you're
That's what I'm talking about.
She adores you, dude.
You tell her I love her ass, and look, if she died, she wouldn't have any of this if she was gone.
She's gonna flip. I sent her a message that I was gonna be on here because you guys had emailed me and stuff, and she was like calling me, like, "Are you serious? You're talking about Ryan Sickler, all this stuff." It was great.
How old is your mom now?
46 years old.
Got it. 46. She's a young lady. All right.
She's having a lot of heart problems again.
I was gonna say, how's her health?
she's running like a retirement home slash hospice. So it's kind of like essentially she's taking care of a lot of people that were abandoned by her family or by their family. So she has like 9 or 10 people that live there, but their families stopped visiting them and they stopped paying for shit. So
how does she know about this show? Who listened first, you or her?
Me.
All
me.
Right.
Because I'm a truck driver. So like
you log some miles, bro.
Yeah, I'm behind the wheel 8-9 hours, and most of that I'm listening to different podcasts. So I always got you on, Tiger Belly, Tom Segura's Your Mom's House, obviously Rogan, and Jason Ellis, Hawk versus Wolf, and I'm all over the place. The one with Woody Nelson's granddaughter was awesome.
Willie Nelson.
So good. Willie Nelson's granddaughter.
Raylan Nelson. Yeah, that was a great episode. She's awesome.
She seems like a very sweet lady.
Yeah. Genuine person for sure.
You guys had such a cool little like back and forth chemistry. That's what I love about your show, really, is just it makes you feel like you're sort of in the room a little bit. Like, we're on the couch watching television and you guys are like talking. Like, it's really cool.
Thank you, man.
You have a gift for like listening and kind of highlighting parts that are funny that like maybe you're a comedian. So it's like, we don't think it's funny or something. We're just sharing. And then you're like, wait, hold on. This is fucking funny.
Well, I'm trying over here. God damn it. Look, we're coming up on that time, and I definitely want to hear about this New Year's in Chile.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah.
If it's okay with you, then what I would like to do is, how much time do we have, more or less?
About 10.
Okay. So maybe I can do Chile, that story, make it a little quicker than my other ones, and then tell the story about how I had to lose over 10 pounds in a day for like the Vegas fights.
Okay.
I think that one's a funny one. That's why.
All right.
Also, my mom, my girlfriend had told me to mention that my mom had shot a dude in his ass trying to break into our house.
What?
When I was like in middle school. We lived in a hoodie area and some dude had tried to break in. My mom had a gun. So goes back there, shoots him, and I
like your mom a lot.
Yeah, she's a bad motherfucker. So she shoots him, and we went through all this training because my grandpa was like military, and then my mom went through like police academy in Chile. So we had like our own little thing happening, she wanted to be like a detective and stuff. So she shoots this guy and I'm like, holy shit. So I go get the other gun and I'm loading it. I'm doing all the things and I'm calling, 911 and stuff. It's like what you're supposed to do is like just immediately call. So we're calling, I get the gun and I'm like, okay. And I go and I'm like, I'm behind the wall and I'm like, Mom, are you okay? Is everything okay? And I hear this guy screaming, you shot me, you crazy bitch. You fucking shot me. You shot me in the ass. You fucking, blah, blah, blah. And then my mom's like, oh no, I was just kidding. Like after you shot me, you crazy bitch. And she's like, no, I was just kidding. And then she's like, you fucking pussy, like I should shoot you again. I only shot you in the ass. And I'm there and I'm like, my mom busted a cap in someone's ass. Like for real though. So my girlfriend had mentioned that. She thinks it's like the best story ever.
That's
and we called my mom. And my girlfriend was like, dude, no way. And I called my mom. My mom's like, hey, what happened when this guy tried to break into our car? And she was like, shot him in the ass. And I was like, that's right. So Chile, real quick, because I want to get the Vegas story in there because I think it's one of the funnier ones I have.
Tell us that one then. You don't have to tell the New Year's story. Tell us that.
All right. So then,
so you said earlier you've been doing MMA and everything forever. So you have a fight in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Brazil. It's a tournament, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So it's submission grappling. I know you know what that is, but not everyone knows what it is. So you just say fight because they don't know the fucking difference. But it's Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So I signed up for this, and I walk around at 190, and I signed up for 170. So I have to lose 20 pounds. I'm not that disciplined. As we're approaching the day, I weigh in at home before Vegas. I weigh in at like 175, 176. So I have to lose about 5-6 pounds. Whatever. I haven't had any food or water. And it's my girlfriend's 21st birthday. We fly out to Vegas. Everyone's having a good time. I'm not drinking water, eating any food. I ran like 4 miles to help lose weight, and I've like never run before, so that shit was hard. And my hotel says there's a sauna slash steam room, but there isn't. I go and it's closed. So like, yeah, we got one, but they should have told me it didn't work. Their hot tubs were not hot because I called and asked if they had them, and they did, but they were not hot. They were fucking cold. So now, yeah, they're just tubs. So when I get told this, I am now thinking like, shit, I got to lose a whole bunch of weight really quick. So I'm running, I'm in the treadmill. I put the shower hot as it can go, and I put towels under the door, and I'm in there just like with my girlfriend, man. She wants to do it with me. She's like, no, I don't want you to suffer alone, that kind of thing. She's awesome. So we're in the shower. It's hot as fuck and just steaming, and the idea is to like sweat and stuff, you know? So all this is happening. We get to the place, the Sahara, to weigh in and all that. And I'm weighing in thinking I should be more than good, you know? And as I weigh in, they're like, dude, you're like 2 pounds over. Like, do you want to fight in the weight class above you? Or you just like, what are you going to do, you know? And the ref, they told me like, go ahead and just go like run and stuff like that. So I go up to the president of the organization. It's NAGA, the North American Grappling Association. And I go up to the president. I'm like, dude, I got to lose like 2 pounds. How long would I have to do that? And he was like, doesn't matter. Start running, dude. What are you doing here? Go, 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 you know? So I'm like, shit. So everyone's helping me. They're giving me like beanies and sweaters and hoodies. And I get on my gi, which is like a fancy bathrobe. And I'm running in the parking lot, just running. Fucking
in Vegas. How hot is it?
In Vegas. It's warm. It's warmer than it is in here. And this was May 22nd. So it's hot.
Yeah.
And I'm running through it. I'm like, fucking hell, dude. I'm kind of thinking like, maybe I should just do the weight class above. Like, what is this shit? And I see a spot. I'm like, all right. So I open the door and I'm like, hey man, I'm fighting. And they're like, yeah, we had another guy come in. Like, okay, so you can use it, whatever, the steam room. It's, you know, just give us $15 and you can be in there as long as you need. And I was like, okay, fuck yeah, that's awesome. I run back, get my wallet, run back inside, give him that. And then my girlfriend wants to come. And so I tell the guy like, hey, is it okay if my girlfriend comes in? You know, I'll pay for both of us, no big deal. And he's like, no, it's men's only. It's men's only club. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm thinking like, whatever. Okay. So I go, and then he quickly pulls me in and says, hey, if anyone messes with you, don't beat anyone up. Come find me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Maybe because I'm doing the jiu-jitsu thing. I'm like, no, I'm not going to beat anyone up. What are you talking about? So I go in there and I can sort of tell that it's more of like there's a sauna, but it's also like a hang. There's like hot tubs. There's like naked dudes walking around. I'm like, all right, this is a little weird. So I go in there and I sit down and I kind of introduce myself. Hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. So we're doing the thing. And this guy just starts like jacking off. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What are you doing? And I was like, hey, man.
He's like, I'm trying to cut 1 pound.
Yeah.
I'm wrestling you, motherfucker.
Yeah. So he's like, and he gets up and walks away. And
gets mad about it. He's
mad. Yeah. He has an attitude about it. So a couple of people leave. And then I'm just like, hey, guys, I kind of realize where I'm at. And I'm like, hey, I am so sorry to be like in your space and all that, but I need to lose like a pound or 2 and I'm out of here.
Wait, so you're telling me after all this time you end up at the Circle J anyway?
Yeah, I ended up at the Circle J, yeah. So I apologize to everyone. And
you're telling these guys you're sorry that you're in their fucking house and you know that they want to pull their dicks out, but you just got to drop 2 pounds real quick.
So I'm telling them, like, I'm apologizing, letting them know, like, dude, I'm sorry, but, like, I might be in here 10 minutes. Like, can you maybe, like, tell other people not to come in here and shit, like, just a little bit? And they're like, what the fuck, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I guess, man. And then mostly everyone leaves. 2 guys hang out, and they're pretty cool. You know, they're like, oh, man, like, what are you doing? You know, oh, wow, I hope you make it. Like, they're just really dope. And eventually they get up and leave. Now it's just me. So I'm in there and I'm like doing jumping jacks, I'm doing push-ups, I'm like shadow boxing, all this shit in there like a fucking freak. And I text my girlfriend. I'm like, dude, pretty sure I'm in a gay club kind of thing is what I told her earlier. Then I messaged her again and I'm like, I definitely am. She's like, what makes you, she said, what makes you say that? And I opened the door from the sauna and there's a bunch of TV screens and they're just blasting porno on there. And it's gay porn. It's people just ramming each other in the ass. And I can't believe I didn't even notice that. So yeah, it's extreme. I ain't ever seen some shit like that. I was like, what the fuck? So I go to the treadmill and I'm like, I'm trying to run. And I send my girlfriend a video. There's a treadmill in there, yeah. So I get a video of the TV and I'm sending it to my girlfriend and I'm like, at least there's good ambient music in here. And it's just fucking like all of that. It's the heavy section on Your Mom's House. It's just like crazy shit. It's not like chill porn. It's fucking crazy. So I'm like, oh fuck. So as I'm running on the treadmill, I feel like I'm about to pass out because I've had no food, no water, went up through all this crap running. So I stop the treadmill and I go up to the manager and I'm like holding my head. I'm like, hey, he's like, you need water. I'm like, I can't. That's how I weigh in. So I'm like, thanks for having me. Shit was weird, blah, blah, blah. Fucking see ya. And oh shit, I left this part out. They had told me, did you ask for your towel? And I'm like, what? And apparently the colored towels you wear are like a signet as showing people like what you're down for. And they were like, oh, you have a white towel. That's cool. And I'm like, that's cool. What the,
cool for
what
who?
The, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess white towel means you're chilling. And I guess I have different towels for different things. And like people have been making fun of me for that. You know, every time I don't know, they'll bring that up. Like, oh man, hey, you got a red towel in there? Like something. So, I run back, I make fucking weight. And as soon as I step on, I like take off my socks and everything because they're drenched in sweat. And I made weight. They're like, oh, 168, whatever it was. I actually went under. And I'm like, fuck yeah. So we leave and we get fucking In-N-Out, we get sweets, we get enchiladas. It's my girlfriend's 21st birthday. We're out. I'm not partying now. We're taking shots because I'm not fighting till the next day at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. So we're going hard, having a great time. I'm hungover the next day. I get Mexican food at Diablo's Kitchen and I feel terrible because I just dieted all this, I lost over 20 pounds. I feel like shit, dude. And I had ran to the restroom like 20 times at this point. And we have to get going. We have to go to the Sahara. And we get there. And needless to say, I lost all my matches.
All of them. You didn't
yeah. right before I was supposed to fight the guy, I was like, I need to use the restroom. And I was just like shitting my guts out, dude. It was bad.
Oh,
so I lose all my matches, but the last match I did, the ref called me untappable because I got out of everything, and the match ended with me on top of the dude, just holding him for dear life because I felt like if I got up, I was gonna vomit.
Yeah.
So I got on the side of him on top, and I was just like, ah! And they called the match, and I got up like this, and I was like this. And the ref's like, dude, you're fucking untappable. And I was like, you should have seen me early, dude. I was tap dancing all up and down this fucking mat, man. I got my ass beat.
Diego, dude, thank you, man. Yeah. Thank you for coming on and sharing your stories with us. These were great. You got a lot of funny fucking moments in here, man.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it, man. And thank you for your support, too. I know we all appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you very much. I think you're hilarious. The podcast is great. I'm on the Patreon now. Also, I'll probably be in LA for your show, February 5th, I think it was.
I don't know. I think that, I don't know. You know what? Maybe it is. You got to go look. I can't remember. I got January and February. It all starts running together. Just go look. Yeah. But I'm a guest on Tom's with those. Anything that says with Tom Segura or Tom shows, I'm just a guest.
And this is still like a stand-up.
Oh yeah, it's his tour. He's coming everywhere. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm just coming a couple spots with him. Yeah,
a couple.
I'm Circle J. I'm meeting him at the Circle J in California.
Fuck yeah! Hey, So my friend, because I told him I was going to be on here, his name's Thomas Hatzis. He's actually a writer and author. He's the world's leading expert in psychedelic history. And he just came out with a book called LSD, The Wonder Child. And he heard I was going to be on here, and he is a fan of the show. And he was like, dude, see if you can get me on there. I told him just to send you an email.
He's got an email. That's
right?
it. So let me just tell everybody now, again, thank you. If you or anyone out there has that story that needs to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Don't fucking message me on Twitter. Don't message me on Instagram. Don't send it to some other fucking email. The only ones I'm paying attention to are the emails at honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. All right? If you're new here, you sign up for a year, you get a month free. You get the Honeydew a day early, ad-free at no additional cost. And make sure you come out and see me if I'm in your town on the Night Pants Nation Tour. All tickets are available at ryansickler.com. All right? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Diego. We'll talk to y'all next week.